The story begins with two events unfolding in very different worlds yet tied together in the way media and culture collide. On one hand, there was the legend of a forgotten village, a place tucked deep into the mountains where time seemed to stop. The villagers lived with ancient customs, rarely visited by outsiders, holding on to stories that had never reached the wider world. On the other hand, far away in the bustling city, a live television broadcast was about to spiral out of control when Michael B. Jordan, the Hollywood star admired by millions, clashed with co-host Sunny Hostin on The View. The two moments, though distant in nature, carried the same theme: the clash between silence and voice, between tradition and confrontation, between keeping peace and exposing truth. As the cameras rolled and the conversation heated up, it became clear that something unexpected was about to happen, something that would echo far beyond the studio walls. The interview began like any other. The studio audience was buzzing, eager to hear Michael speak about his upcoming projects, particularly a movie that carried mysterious undertones about a community cut off from the modern world. He spoke about research trips, old legends, and inspiration drawn from cultures that modern media often ignores. Sunny Hostin leaned in, probing further, asking questions that at first seemed professional but soon grew more pointed. Her tone shifted, sharp and pressing, suggesting that the story Michael was telling might not have been his to tell, questioning whether Hollywood had the right to use narratives from forgotten people. The air in the room changed. Whoopi Goldberg tried to lighten the moment, but Michael's jaw tightened as he insisted his work came from respect, not exploitation. The tension was visible, and the audience grew hushed. Sunny was not done. She pushed harder, referencing articles and critics who accused filmmakers of misusing indigenous stories. Michael countered firmly, saying his movie was about giving voice to the voiceless, not erasing them. He gestured passionately, describing his experience visiting rural villages and speaking with elders who wanted their stories told. His words carried sincerity, but Sunny wasn't backing down. She reminded him that authenticity isn't just about intent, it's about execution, and sometimes about who gets to profit from the narrative. That was the turning point. The conversation that had started as an interview was now an argument, being broadcast live to millions of viewers who could see every glance, every tightened expression. As the exchange grew heated, the studio seemed to shrink around them. The cameras captured Michael's growing frustration, his voice deepening as he tried to defend his position. Sunny, equally unshaken, maintained her firm questioning, not as an attack but as a demand for accountability. Audience members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, while the other hosts exchanged worried looks, unsure whether to intervene or let the discussion play out. Michael leaned forward, reminding Sunny and the viewers that as a black actor in Hollywood, he too came from a history of forgotten voices, and that his mission had always been to amplify rather than erase. Sunny acknowledged his struggles but pressed again: was it amplification if the original community wasn't in control? The weight of the moment was unbearable, and the silence between their exchanges felt louder than their words. Then it happened. Michael exhaled sharply, his patience gone. He looked at Sunny, then at the audience, and finally at the camera, as if speaking directly to the world watching. "You know what," he said, his voice edged with finality, "if my intentions aren't enough, then maybe this isn't the space to have this conversation." He stood up from his chair, his microphone still clipped to his suit, and began to walk off the set. Gasps filled the studio, audience members rising halfway out of their seats in disbelief. Whoopi called out, trying to calm him, but Michael was already striding toward the exit, his face a mask of controlled anger. The cameras stayed trained on him, capturing every step as the show slipped into live television chaos. Sunny sat still, her expression unreadable but her eyes heavy, as if she too understood the magnitude of what just happened. The other co-hosts scrambled, some trying to lighten the tension with humor, others calling for a commercial break. But the damage was done. In an age where viral clips spread within minutes, the footage of Michael B. Jordan storming off The View was already being clipped, shared, and debated online. Commentators began dissecting every word, every look, and every tone of the argument. Was Michael right to leave, or was Sunny right to challenge him? The debate extended beyond Hollywood, reaching into cultural, racial, and historical discussions that society has always struggled with. Meanwhile, in that quiet forgotten village, the very inspiration for the disputed movie, life went on as usual. The villagers, unaware of the storm unfolding on live television, carried water, told stories by firelight, and passed down traditions. But unknowingly, they were at the center of a global conversation about ownership of stories and who gets to tell them. The juxtaposition was almost poetic. The people whose narrative sparked conflict in a glittering studio didn't even know they were being argued over. Their voices, though distant, had shaped a storm in the heart of modern media. Perhaps, in some strange way, that was proof of their enduring relevance. By the time Michael's representatives released a statement later that evening, the internet was ablaze. Fans defended him, critics dissected him, and cultural commentators tried to piece together what it meant for Hollywood and representation. Sunny, too, released her perspective, standing by her questions while acknowledging that emotions had run high. But beyond the headlines and trending hashtags, the story symbolized something greater, the fragile bridge between forgotten histories and modern storytelling. Just as the villagers' legacy could not be erased by silence, Michael's stormy exit from the view could not erase the truth that narratives hold power. In the end, both the forgotten village and the fiery exchange served as a reminder that stories, no matter where they come from, are never just entertainment. They are battles over identity, ownership, and truth.